So Connie, knowing you as well as I do, and you want people around the world to really understand the draw that this ministry has had for you for the last 11 years, where you are in life, what you want to do and the impact that you want to create within your own personal ministry. So what do you see in Kenya, this whole African connection, that is going to allow you to continue being stirred by spirit, as we've discussed many times?
Well, as this whole idea has been blossoming within me, and I've been, doing my discipline and my spiritual discipline about that, and really understanding why Kenya and why that is for me. What I've come to realize is there's a call for me to go there. Something deep is happening because as you know, I've been in this ministry now for about 11 years. I've been in this teaching for about 20 years. And there's always an evolution of who we are. And I feel within myself that there's an evolution of something expanding to take this teaching to a depth that perhaps I haven't experienced before. Or actually, I think it's more about remembering what I've experienced before and having that in a different way. So it's, I love the analogy that we were talking about, the analogy that in North America, we are so spoiled in this continent. We can get whatever we want in an instant, including our spiritual nourishment. I mean, you go into a grocery store and we have these big box stores everywhere, and you've got, I walk into Superstore and I'm lost. I'm overwhelmed by the sheer magnitude of the choices that are in front of me. And I walk into these, Costco, just is like, I go blank when I walk into Costco because the choices and so much stuff. So we have so many choices, but in our spiritual life, it's kind of like that. Sometimes when I look around and I walk into, a chapters and all of the books out there, and you're bombarded by emails and you go on the web and there's so many choices, and everybody wants you to, this newest and latest and greatest, and you've got to do this and you've got to do that. I get overwhelmed with the choices. I can imagine how confusing that must be for some people to make those choices. And so what I know about this teaching is the depth of it. And it is not a light and superficial thing. And I know what this teaching did in my life, and the transformation of consciousness, and who I am today versus who I was then, and the depth of that, and the understanding of it, and what this teaching is, and what I'm beginning to understand from the emails that I get from people from Kenya. And I am getting emails sent to me from Global Services weekly, practically, from different groups in Kenya that have found out that I'm coming and are contacting, and how can we be included? How can we be part of this? There's people coming, and the richness of the seeking, like they want this teaching so deeply and so profoundly. Out of all of the choices they could have, they've discovered this and they want it.
So it's what I'm hearing, Connie, that you're looking to take your ministry away from the plethora of choices we have in North America, in dealing then at a new level of your ministry with people that don't necessarily have the spiritual choices that we have here on this continent, but using their sort of lack of choice as an opportunity to go deeper in the ministry. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's sort of the sense of it that I get, and it's almost, I'm not even sure how to describe it, because I haven't been there and I haven't met these people, and I know that it's going to be I'm sure, so much more than I can even anticipate it. But I'm really, really pulled to simplicity these days. And one of the things about this teaching that so pulls me is it is so simple. If we would only but listen and know it and live it and practice it. And that's what Ernest Holmes said. It is nothing if it is not a practice. And it's not just an intellectual idea. And the simplicity of it. And so to go to a country that lives in a so much more basic, natural, simple way really pulls me.
So, thank you for sharing that. So I'm looking for clarity. Are you telling me that your ministry is going back to its original roots, the original message that Ernest Holmes was talking about, becoming very simple, but removing yourself from this somewhat overly complex continent back into an environment where simplicity is the order of the day?
Yes.
How cool is that?
That pulls me. And you just stimulated another thought that I had about that I get really energized when I think about. And I'm thinking about Ernest Holmes when he first started this teaching in 1927, and he was speaking to the crowds he was speaking to in Wilshire Theatre way back then. And the thousands of people he attracted because it was so new. And it was so rich, and it was so different, and it was so perfect. And I think we've lost a lot of that because there's so many options. Well, these people have got, I get that same sense of that same newness, and that's where it's going to take me back to, is that sense of that newness of how it was at the beginning when I first discovered it. And it's like I couldn't believe that people actually believed the way that I believed. And I found a place where I fit. And I get the sense of that going to Kenya is a place where I'm going to fit.
Awesome. Let's take a break for a moment, and then let's come back and talk about what you want from us, okay?
Thank you.